Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, welcome to another TV episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Upton, and who thinks they're in Dexter's laboratory with me tonight?
Is the president of the Asajj Ventress fan club, Keroseta, Kerooseta on Twitch, or Kerry. That's it.
Okay. Nick from the Hate to See It podcast, YOUH8CUT, and I totally have plugged my podcast in the last 6 months, and it's just three drunkards, drunk best friends, bullshitting and talking.
Making fun of you?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
I met all of them.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Hey everybody, how are you? I'm Robbie Sherman of Conversations with Robbie Sherman. I've been editor for a couple of little podcasts you might have heard of. 6 Season of Podcast, Let's Chat with Chris Rebel. I got some new episodes coming up after dealing with some little ear pain. That's not been fun. So I do have more episodes coming up. I appreciate you having me on, Mike.
Of course. And we are here to talk about, we're doing another Star Wars thing. We're here to talk about, I know I'm going to butcher this, Star Wars, the Clone Wars, also known as Tartakosvsky's Clone Wars, if I said that right. Or Tarkovsky.
Yeah. I think it's Tartakosvsky. I could be wrong too. I'm a dumb American.
Yeah, I try to I say it the way it's spelled. It's Tartakosvsky. Yeah. That's how I've always said it, but I have no idea how it's actually pronounced.
I think when I first read it, I read Tarkovsky, and then I told that to my girlfriend, and she's like, "Isn't that a composer?" I'm like, yeah, I think you're right.
So this, I mean, that's what it's mostly known as. I mean, because now it's not canon anymore, but at the time that it released in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, this was the canon Clone Wars stuff that I never watched because it aired on Cartoon Network 2003, 04, 05, and at first 3-minute little episodes and things that I didn't care about.
Well, yeah, that was the whole issue I had with it, because when I found out each thing was 3 minutes and there was no way I could keep up with this because I didn't have internet access at the time and I couldn't guarantee my schedule like that. It took me probably another 3 or 4 years before I found it on video, and it just became the best damn Star Wars thing I've ever laid my eyes on, let me tell you.
Okay.
Can we talk about how that, I think for the first episode on Disney Plus, there's a total of maybe 24 words said?
Yeah.
Yes. It's exactly what I need Star Wars to be.
Yeah, it's a very quiet show. I like it. I like it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I watched this Saturday night at 1 a.m. With one of my buddies over Discord while we played Gotham Knights. And just brain dead did both, and it was just drinking and playing Gotham Knights, and just the most ADD thing you've ever seen in your life.
Oh my word, that sounds like a Saturday night.
Yeah, I'd like to point out it was this Saturday too.
Hey, this could be fun to watch while drinking because there is a lot of epic stuff in this cartoon that would probably get more cool as the more you drink. So
yeah,
not only is it epic, it also fully embraces how intensely bipolar this show can be about issues dealing with love and loyalty.
Well, my buddy pointed out the intense sexual tension between Padme and Yoda. So,
man, Padme has size
the intensity there.
And this is also made by the same guy who made Dexter's Laboratory and all this other show Powerpuff.
I could tell as soon as I could really tell.
Samurai Jack. You can see the Samurai Jack all over.
Yes.
God bless the ground that guy walks on. Primal is one of the most perfect things I've ever seen in my life. How do people make cartoons? It's good.
So I had no good opinion of this, even though I never watched it. I just thought, well, it's 3 minutes. It's got to be stupid. I was wrong. I watched this whole thing I watched all of it, and then I started watching.
I'm glad you learned.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was just a bad opinion because I didn't watch it, and I just saw the animation. I'm like, this looks stupid, and Attack of the Clones was stupid, and Revenge of the Sith I didn't like, so I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this prequel stuff. I mean, my opinion.
I remember catching an episode here or there in 2003, 2004, because I was watching a lot of Adult Swim Because it was on Adult Swim, right? That's where it was at?
Well, it premiered on regular Cartoon Network beforehand, but they would start running it on Adult Swim here and there over the years as a special event.
I feel like catching it in between episodes of this or that I was watching. Because I was in college when this started. I was graduated by the time it finished, but I was in college and I was watching a lot of Adult Swim, I think.
This was in 03, right?
Yeah, 03 to 05.
Yeah. I was 6.
So I graduated college in 04. So I was living in an apartment with my best friend, who's the guy who got me into Star Wars back in like 1992. And we would I remember us catching an episode here or there, but they're only like the first season episodes are only like 3 minutes long.
Yeah,
the first 2 seasons. Yeah, the first 2 seasons are 3 minutes long each. So I think we would catch them like they'd play like a episode in between something else. So I definitely didn't follow the story. It was just like, oh, here's a cool little 3 minutes of Star Wars stuff.
And they kind of work like that. If you don't have it that way, they do kind of function like that. They are told well enough.
Yeah, they do. Especially the first actually, no, I think the first 2 seasons in general are very good like that.
And it's nice that everything's in order. That it isn't just like, well, here we're going to do a thing at the beginning of the war. We're going to do something at the end of the war. We're going to bring you something in the middle of the war. Like, it's nice, just all right in order.
Yeah, and I love how the 3rd season, especially. I mean, we'll definitely want to talk about how it ends.
Oh yeah,
like where it ends and everything is really cool.
And like this also makes more sense. Like one of my biggest complaints, I haven't seen Revenge of the Sith in a while, but back then was that from Attack of the Clones to the Revenge of the Sith, he changes too quickly from the boy Anakin to Vader. And this helps. It's still not as good as Clone Wars when it comes to that change, but it's shorter. But it kind of shows you a little bit more of what the war was. It shows that he was sent off when he shouldn't have been. It shows Palpatine's like, yeah, he doesn't need to be with his Jedi Master. No, he's ready to go. Send him on his own in charge of a whole fleet. Like you can see a little bit of him moving pieces, not like, what we will see in the Clone Wars show and years later, but the beginning of that idea.
Yeah, you can though. I think that, and there's only really one episode where he actually seems like he's not just the cool hero kid, where he actually seems like he's getting in that darker direction.
When he pulls that lightsaber on Padme, and then she doesn't even flinch about it. She's just like, Annie, it's me. Like, as if it's happened multiple times before. Yeah. That's one of my most intense moments in all of Star Wars when I think about the impact that had on me as a kid, seeing that.
Yeah. I mean, and they don't see each other very much in this either. Like, it feels like he only saw, because it feels like he's gone for most of the war, which, again, makes sense. That they're not in Coruscant that often in this show. Like, they're sent off with a good chunk of the army, and they're gone for years fighting.
Well, I'm assuming everyone's seen Season 7 Clone Wars, right?
I have, yes.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Well, I mean,
that's the final season?
Yeah. Well,
I haven't, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, well, you have Rex basically running interference for Obi-Wan to, like, Rex knows about their romance, and obviously Obi-Wan knows, but, like,
right.
They're like, she's sneaking off the war zones to go see him.
but not in this one, it kind of plays more to show, like, why he's stupid in that movie, the next movie, but
yeah.
I feel like I read somewhere that like parts of this are canon. It's weird.
I mean, all of this was canon until
it all was canon, right? Until Disney, and now I think it's basically all replaced by the Clone Wars cartoon.
Yeah, none of this counts anymore.
Yeah, the Clone Wars cartoon, the CG Clone Wars cartoon, that counts, right? That's all canon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone kind of respects it, though. Like, I think everyone's like, yes, this was a cool thing. Like, we're not putting it down, but we got this other thing that actually gives us a fuller branching out of it.
Yeah, this is much shorter. I mean, altogether, it's only about 2 hours of a show.
Yep. Yes,
it's glorious.
2 hours. It's almost right at 2 hours. Yeah,
it honestly is some good 2 hours cartoons. Like, what we watched on Disney Plus, which takes all season 1 and 2 and puts it all together into like a 1 hour and a half hour episode. It flows well. Like, you can kind of tell where the cuts are, but it works well, and you really get to see how much shit these clone troopers go through and how powerful the droids are. You get to see the banking clan. You get to see the Techno Union. You get to see a lot of different parts of the Separatists, which I felt really complimented this show.
Yeah, and we get introduced to some characters like, General Grievous. General Grievous. Obviously Lucasfilm told Tartakosvsky, all right, here, you can have this character, do this thing, make this character do the stuff. But still, like, this show introduces General Grievous.
And it was fucking epic.
Because, he shows up at the end of season 2, and then he wouldn't show up in the movies for a year and a half after that.
I feel like Grievous is never not absolutely amazing. It's impossible to fuck up Grievous, right?
I mean,
Grievous is amazing. Yeah, my son and I were watching it. My son and I were watching it because I watched the first 2 seasons like a month ago, and then I watched season 3 like I finished it like 20 minutes ago. And so like I came in and watched just season 3, and my son and I watched season 3. He didn't watch the first 2 with me, but he was watching season 3 with me, and he's like, General Grievous is amazing. I think he's like my favorite character in this.
Good.
And I was like, yeah,
good attitude right there.
Yeah, he's really cool.
He's cool in this. I don't like him from what I remember in Revenge of the Sith. I can tell you differently later on next month.
He's one of the few things. I mean, I think Revenge of the Sith has a few good things, and I like General Grievous in Revenge of the Sith.
It's been a while, so my opinion might be different when we cover that. But like before watching this, I never cared for General Grievous. I thought he was stupid. I thought he was just made to sell toys. And then seeing him in this,
that's what makes him awesome.
The floor, and he kills Shaggy. A Jedi looks just like fucking Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
You know what?
Yeah.
my buddy pointed that out. He's like, that's fucking Shaggy?
I told my son, I was like, that Jedi looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And he's like, he does. And then later, he's like, why did Shaggy run out of the building? Because it's Shaggy.
Hey, look, that is defendable because we are in a Gennady Tartakovsky cartoon. And let me tell you, this man can do animation homages like no other.
I love
some of the designs in this look like Kerry Quest.
He has Obi-Wan do the Akira slide, and like, was that in like the first episode?
Maybe I couldn't tell you.
Is that the one with the motorcycle when he fights that weird mech thing?
Yes, that's not the first episode. That's
not
the first
episode. It's the first season. It's early volume.
Episode 8. Yeah,
that was intense. Like seeing like the biker gang of like IG-88 looking droids come out and just take out freaking tons of clone troopers. I'm like, this is cool.
This is what I want in my actual movies. God damn it!
Oh?
Yeah, this would be a good movie, like a good like live action movie.
Yes,
but just this series. Show us what's going on.
Be a little expensive, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want them to spend money on these movies if they're gonna do it.
The one part that really stuck out to me because I really like the underwater, like seeing Kit Fisto actually be cool for the first time in Star Wars. I'm like, you did it, guys. You made him, that idiot, cool for the first time ever to me. Like, good job.
Yeah, I wasn't a big... I didn't love that episode as much, but...
I just like... I don't know... Because I read the Darth Vader comic that kind of goes in about, like... That talks about when they kill... When in the comic that was... I think it is still canon. They mess up the... And it shows that those Mon Calamaris leave and then kind of end up joining the Rebels. And like seeing that... So I just enjoy seeing that. I don't know. But it did make me laugh that Kit Fisto's lightsaber, like you can see how it's like... burning the water near it. So I thought that was cool.
Is it Mon Calamari that joined the
some did.
Separatist? It's like a different species from Mon Calamari.
It's
right?
the Quarren. Well, the Quarrens. The Mon
Quarren joined the Separatists. Okay. The Admiral Akbar aliens. They join. Well, they eventually join the Resistance,
right? Yeah.
Because when the Empire comes later on, way later on, they don't side with the Empire. They want to be left alone, and then they get killed, and a lot of their ships end up leading to the Rebel Alliance. So some of the ships that they have.
Yeah, the Mon Calamari do. Yeah, like that's what like the big like bulbous looking ships in Star Wars on the Rebel side are Mon Calamari Star Cruisers, and
okay.
So that's why
Extended Universe they created like the A-wing fighters and some other stuff, but that's of course not canon anymore.
That's why I liked it more. So I have a soft spot for the water stuff. Like I liked in Clone War, the CGI Clone Wars show when you have the Mon Calamari and them fighting the Quarrens. I really like I don't know, something about underwater in Star Wars I like for some reason.
It makes me think of Johnny Quest. When I look at like the painting of it and the way they do it, like man, it really looks like Johnny Quest. Oh man,
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but to go back to that. The riding, the Knight Rider guys with the IG-88 droid, like, that I wasn't expecting. Like, and it was cool to see the banking clan. Like, I was asking myself, like, why didn't this character have a figure? Like, this guy is badass. Like, I don't think I never saw a toy or anything of this character before. Like, there should be a toy.
Well, I mean, was he just in this show? Because I don't think this show was, like, super widely seen.
No, this show didn't have any toys. I worked at Target.
I couldn't imagine this show having, like, a contract with Mattel.
Well, after Phantom Menace didn't do so hot with toys, I think people were kind of like, yeah, because I know Phantom Menace did not sell, Jar Jar Binks toys did not sell very well for some reason.
Oh my god! When I saw the
It never
toys
did.
for Jar Jar
That's
Binks,
hurt me.
So it makes sense that they were, after getting burned on that, they weren't as interested to do as much stuff. So I can get it. But yeah, I mean, I think the show should have had toys because the show's awesome.
I feel like it was just Play-Doh.
Hey, something. I mean, it could have worked. Like, it was just weird to me. And I also never realized that Asajj Ventress was originally in this show, and then she's taken to put in the CGI Clone Wars show that I know of.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff from this that ended up in the CGI Clone Wars, like that and Obi-Wan running around in Stormtrooper armor or Clone Trooper armor was another thing.
Him lancing on the bike in the Clone Trooper armor.
Oh, that was badass.
That was great.
Brutally murdering people.
Yeah,
But that's shot. I had to go back and rewatch the scene where just you have General Grievous getting ready to fight Mace Windu, and then it's just reach his hand out, crush his ribs. Because apparently that's why he has the cough, is because Mace Windu just squeezed his ribs.
Yes, he tried to freaking crush his chest.
Yeah,
and he's a person. He's not a droid. He's a person.
No,
he's a cyborg.
He's a cyborg, right?
hey,
Yeah.
that
He's
is
got
the
like
way,
a
as
human.
far as
He's
I'm
got
concerned.
a humanoid, face and head and chest. It's just like robot arms and armor.
I mean, they're not. I mean, Jedi are. I mean, sure, they're peacekeepers in quotations, but they're also they're at this point they're warriors. They're murderers. Like, it's war. Like, we're fighting.
Yeah, it's just what we mainly see is we see them fighting robots. We see them fighting droids because it's a kid friendly franchise.
The Samurai Jack rule.
Yeah.
is that
So
what that is?
it's yes.
Yeah.
But it was just cool to me because I had never known who Asajj Ventress was. Like, I didn't know she was really even in this cartoon. I mean, I knew her from the CGI, and I was like, okay, well, when I introduced her, and the way they introduce her in this, where she's in that Coliseum, and she just kills everybody, that was also freaking epic.
In the gladiator fight.
Yeah, I really liked that a lot. I thought that was a great introduction to the character. Because they never really give you much. You don't get her backstory. You don't get anything in this. You just get her. You see that she's a badass, and then you see her fighting Anakin throughout the first 2 seasons.
Well, and Dooku just beats her ass, and to just teach her that she's not that she needs him basically.
Because Dooku's a shithead.
Yeah.
He absolutely just wipes the floor for her. It's pretty funny.
Big shout to Grey DeLisle for doing both Asajj Ventress and Padme Amidala.
Oh,
She did both voices.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Padme's not in this too much. She's one episode maybe?
Yeah, maybe like an episode and a half.
While we're on the voices, we could talk about Anakin's voice actor because not great.
Matt Lucas.
Not great. And it's not the guy that does it in the Clone Wars, like the CGI Clone Wars.
No.
But it's someone who does him in everything else animated.
Let me tell you, I look at this as like Robotech Star Wars. Everyone kind of has a Canadian note to what they do. So I'm perfectly fine with the whole cast because they're all just in this weird balance of taking this shit seriously while also embracing how ridiculous it is. But yeah, he is pretty bland compared to...
Well, it just sounds like whiny child, too much. It's too much of the, he's doing a Hayden Christensen impression, but it's just it's too much. It's not as bad, it's not, the guy that does it in the CGI Clone Wars doesn't have, is definitely better, less annoying.
He sounded like a whiny noble. He's like,
yes.
Yes. I will,
princess.
It didn't bother me.
The voice actor is Matt Lucas, and he does his voice. He voices Anakin in everything except for the CGI Clone Wars. He does every video game, every mobile app.
Really?
I'm glad he doesn't anymore. I'll be real with you.
I wonder why he didn't do the CGI one for.
I don't know. He's the Star Wars pinball game. He does his voice in that.
All those producers got in a room and thought, we need to up this up. That guy's been doing this too long.
Yes. He's the one they recast because most of these didn't get. I don't know if the others got recast or not for the CGI. I noticed that he wasn't. I thought it was interesting that he did that one.
Yeah.
They got John DiMaggio in here. We got Bender as General Grievous.
You can hear it.
God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless the man. The ground that man walks on. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Bender's great.
I also love Jake the dog. He's a adorable little guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about you. Yes.
No, there's some good shit like that in here. I enjoyed the voices. I thought the Anakin, like he did sound a lot like Hayden Christensen. I didn't look it up to see if it was. Like I was like, that does sound kind of like him.
It sounded like a really just like over the top Hayden Christensen impression.
Well, he is a whiner in the second movie. Third movie.
But in this one, he's not. He's off. He's usually not whining in this. He's actually pretty badass in this, but he still sounds like whining.
I thought Corey Burton did an amazing job as Count Dooku. Like really impressive. Yeah,
it sounded just like Christopher Lee. I would have expected. Like I knew it couldn't be Christopher Lee, so I looked it up. But
I was like,
really
that
good.
could not be. He does not do cartoons. You cannot get that man to do a cartoon.
No.
Imagine though. Imagine getting that man to do a cartoon.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be epic.
Yeah.
I'd take him in a cartoon.
I'd take him in anything I can get. Like, man, what a great actor.
But I was just like, I was impressed with a lot of the ways they went with the show. They did things I didn't expect, and that was a nice change too. Because like nothing I expected in here went the way Dooku was actually a cooler character than he is in either of the two movies that I can remember. Like I liked the way they did Dooku in this too.
Yeah. I liked it. It really felt like it was like the people that wrote it are fans of the like extended universe too, because it really felt like it had all this kind of cool stuff that you don't see in Star Wars usually, that you see in like the books and the video games and stuff.
There's a lot of respect for it.
Like the ARC troopers and like the web cannons and just like the stuff like that you don't normally kind of.
I don't know how you guys feel, but whenever I get to see like a clone commando, I lose my shit.
Yeah.
Every time I get to see a clone commando, it is the greatest thing.
Yeah, Republic Command. Every time we talk about Star Wars, I end up talking about the Republic Commando books and how much I love those. And so, I love a commando. Like, there's like a scene in like the last season where Commander, it's Commander Cody, like flies with a jetpack, and I'm like, well, yeah, of course, Commander Cody would have a jetpack. Why not? Boba Fett's got a jetpack. Why not?
What
Commander
about this?
Cody?
Does not just scream he should have a jetpack.
Exactly.
Think about that name, Commander Cody. How do you walk the earth without having a jetpack? Name it like
exactly.
It's a good name, and it works well in this. I greatly appreciated the fact that they did that, just because I don't know. It all like wrecked because I know Jody, a friend of the show, had mentioned to me like I think there's a blue trooper in the first episode or very close that is kind of like become that was the inspiration of Rex that has the two guns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't catch that, but I thought that was like, okay, that's cool. Like I like the fact that
he's wearing red armor instead of blue.
Oh, okay.
He is the. I also remember seeing that somewhere. He's the inspiration for Rex because again, it's the first episode. No one talks, so he never says anything. You never get his name,
and that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's like the second or third episode where it's just the ARC troopers trying to make their way across that one city on the banking clan planet.
Scene.
Yeah, it's just like 3 minutes of like no talking, just battle, and it's like a war movie. It's like really well made.
Every time they launch one of those big missiles, it's just so exciting. It just does so much damage at once, like blowing out a whole floor or something. Oh, it's sweet.
You really get to see like what the war was doing to them. It's also, which again plays more into the third, into the movie we get later on, because it shows you how much shit they're going through, and I really appreciated that.
That it does such a better job of actually illustrating the effects of the war on the people in it than I ever felt from episodes 2 and 3.
Because it didn't do it.
Yeah, because episode 2 and 3 weren't the greatest things ever put to screen.
And this is definitely up there with those things, in my opinion. God bless it.
It was just, I don't know, I wasn't bored ever. Like I was like, man, I would have really liked this when I was a kid if I would have watched it. Like I was sad that I wasn't I just didn't care back when it came out. Like it made me sad.
I was so bored with both 2 and 3 when they came out, and like 3 had ups that 2 didn't, but it was also just like so much cheesier than 2, and I didn't take it seriously. Like even as a kid, I didn't take it seriously. I was probably like 13 or 14 when 3 came out, and I was just like, man, this is dumb. Like this feels dumb in the way a Saturday morning cartoon feels dumb.
Yeah, episode 3 came out at just the worst possible time for me. It came out when I'm like, just graduated from college. I'm just like,
Oh.
Am I too old for Star Wars now? Is that what's going on?
You
I
found out
didn't
that
know
was
it.
no.
I didn't know what Star Wars was, so I,
You didn't know what Star Wars was.
He was too little.
You were living the high life, friend.
yeah, that was all
Oh,
pure
but-
and innocence.
We've been talking off and on about that droid thing that Obi-Wan fights with the bikers. Like that freaking fight between the both of them where he has to cut the thing up to pieces. As I said before, that is just so epic. Like God, that I was like I was on board when I was watching that.
Dirge, is that what it is? It's like a droid, but it's also like a. It's not. Is it a droid? What is it? Dirge.
It looks
It's
like a droid, but it also has like
tentacles
it looks like it's
and stuff.
organic.
Yeah, it seems organic. I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't know what it's supposed to be.
But it looks like wires too when he cuts it that just reform. I mean, it was something they make a comment in this that it was sent by Dooku who had gave it to them to help the banking clan.
It was a real Terminator 2 move.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
so he apparently Dirge first appears in the Star Wars Republic comic series by Dark Horse Comics.
Oh, more comics I have to waste money on. Thank you.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, I need other things besides comics, but I keep getting the damn things.
Hey, comics are great.
They are. It's just you tell yourself it's an investment, even though you know it's a lie.
Yeah.
That's what I did. That's what I did.
All right, lie enough to myself, okay, friend?
I mean, he's not wrong.
I already do that. It's.
I mean, all the Funko Pops that surround me, these are an investment. Yes, yeah, sure. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, those are investments.
Oh, and apparently
Investments for a case
that-
of beer down the line. That's what they are.
that species that Dirge is, the Gendai, there's going to be one of those in Jedi Survivor, so that'll be pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Now I'm okay. I'm more on board of that movie than I was before.
Or game comes out in a 2
Game,
weeks.
yeah. No, my brain knew what you were saying, but then my brain just said the wrong word for some reason.
When does it come out?
April 28th.
Oh, okay.
So would that be? Is that before or after this is going to drop, Mike?
This later this month, but April 8th. No, yeah, this will be out. Or no, what did you say it is?
April 28th.
Yeah, this will be out before that.
Oh, awesome. Well, yeah, April 28th, Jedi Survivor. Super looking forward to it. And yeah, it'll have one of those creatures in it apparently.
That's cool. Because I think it's the first time. I feel like it got to be the first time I think it's going to be canon in a current series.
Nice.
Okay, That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because this isn't. I mean, this show isn't canon anymore. I mean, it hasn't been canon in years.
Yeah.
So I'm always happy when stuff that wasn't canon that they then like the EU stuff that they find a way to bring it into what then becomes canon.
Yeah,
makes me happy.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically, well, okay. Dirge is also mentioned in the novelization of Revenge of the Sith, and I think that's canon. So I think Dirge is actually canon. So there you go. He's mentioned.
So cool.
He's mentioned in the novelization. Probably like Anakin being like, "Remember when you fought that guy Dirge?" And Obi-Wan goes, "Yeah." He's probably something like that. So
That's probably what it is too.
it probably
Wait,
is
what was
extended.
that guy's name? Dirge, the man you fought.
Oh yes, of course.
I could see it
How
being that.
could I
stupid, too.
forget? Other than I did.
I still love Star Wars though. No, like this show did a good job of showing you like how bad the war gets, how much it affects, how much it's affecting, Anakin and all of them, and that's what I appreciated. Like you really get to see a good chunk of what was happening to them in between the two movies.
Yeah. And obviously, I think the CGI Clone Wars does, a more thorough job because we got, like 150 episodes of that. But still, for what we had here, this is a great little slice of like here's some of what's going on in between, and then season 3 especially just is like, and now let's set up the third movie.
And it does a
cool.
good job of that. I don't want to talk about that yet, but I do want to get to it soon because there's things I got to say about that last season of this show. Woo.
More
But like
talk.
everything with Asajj, like to kind of finish that up, what I wanted to also say is like how they kind of put her away too in a sense, and I thought that was cool because they essentially put away Asajj Ventress. They put away the character.
Well, yeah, I mean, in that Anakin throws her off of a temple on Yavin 4, presumably to her death.
Yes.
Yeah, but then she comes back. But then she's in now. So she's in the Clone Wars, the CG Clone Wars. But I guess she's reintroduced because it's not. Because none of this counts.
All this was essentially rewritten.
The CG Clone Wars is like as if this show didn't happen. It just takes elements from this show. So
yes.
Either way, either way, with this show, it's like we're just putting characters in the closet when they die. They can always come back.
Yeah.
It's very Dragon Ball Z in that manner.
Yeah, very much so. Doesn't doesn't Ahsoka kill Asajj Ventress in
She
the
doesn't
CG?
kill her. She
Or beats her, I guess. Defeats her.
Well, here's the thing. Asajj almost pulls an Ahsoka where, like, Ahsoka walks away from the Order, but, like, kind of keeps the Force and everything.
Right.
Asajj does pretty much the same thing. She walks away from the Sith. Still pretty evil, but also, like, I'm not just going to kill you because you were a Jedi. Like, it doesn't serve me. Like, she is pretty much... If Ahsoka's a gray Jedi, which a lot of people like to say she is, Asajj Ventress is also a gray Jedi. It's just on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, she's a gray Sith. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I would say, so she basically, she becomes in power. She's not going to continue to serve Dooku and...
It's not even that she got in
Palpatine.
power, it's that she got betrayed by the Sith, because it's the Sith.
Who would think they would betray anybody?
I know, right? It's almost as if Maul is a character.
They're like the mob, you know? They'd never betray you. Your family.
Oh, yeah.
Family.
I was also surprised, like, this show has a whole, like, couple episodes pretty much dedicated to Mace Windu in the first season that I have to talk about.
Yeah.
And, my God, that was some good content.
Yeah. This is what should have always been happening with Mace Windu in these movies. Like,
I'm just beating battle droids to death with his bare hands. Just ripping through steel. Just ripping limbs off of with his bare hands.
Being an inspiration to small, astounded children. Oh my God.
Yes.
This is the making of an epic. Like, this is how you tell this type of story.
Yeah, every time Mace Windu came in and just started like kung fu pummeling super battle droids, my son was just like, that is so awesome. It's so cool.
And
I was like, yeah. I mean, it's really over the top for Star Wars, but it is cool to watch.
There's such amazing perspective work every time. Like, you never get the same kill over and over again.
Yeah.
There's one part he rips the bolts out of a super battle droid and then destroys other battle droid with those bolts. And I'm like, man, that was epic.
Bullets. Yeah.
I was like, God. It just, like, gives you... I mean, again, you can't get this in a movie. I mean, you could now. I think they could do it more. But, like, back then, it would have been harder, too, or more expensive. And, like, it's just so epic in a cartoon. I'm like, this makes me actually care more about Mace Windu because we don't ever get to see him be that cool other than he cuts Jango Fett's head off. Yeah.
It shows you what a lazy writer George Lucas is when he has, like, some of the most amazing actors ever making up his Jedi Council roles. And he can't think of a fucking thing to do with them half the time. Like, they just sit around and talk politics. Yeah, he's just too busy, like, getting this love story out. That's what everybody's watching these movies for, right?
That dialogue, man. I mean, how do you get better dialogue than Sand? Sand is rough.
We talked about with Mace Windu in the Attack of the Clones podcast that, you know, like, basically in that movie, he a couple of different times he's like, you know, I think this, and Yoda goes, nah, and Mace Windu goes, yeah, no, okay, Yoda. Yeah, Yoda's right. Never mind. I'm not going to argue. Sure, whatever. It happens twice.
Which is the Jedi Master with the long head?
Mundi.
Mundi, yeah, Mundi. Well,
Mundi. Yeah.
Can we all just acknowledge that if Mundi died so early, nothing horrible would have happened? The Republic would still stand. The Jedi would still exist. If Mundi would just die at like because he's a horrible clone commander. He basically undermines everything that Obi-Wan is trying to do with Anakin. Everything. Yeah, and he second guesses Yoda. Yes. Granted, Yoda's also a horrible clone commander, but Mundi's the clone Marines barely needed Order 66. They wanted to kill him anyway.
Probably. I was going to say when Asajj Ventress leads Anakin to Yavin 4 and he gets his entire, like, all those clone troopers killed, and then he comes back and he's like, but I won, ha ha ha, and Obi-Wan's like, yeah, but you should have listened to me, blah blah blah, and neither of them had mentioned, oh yeah, also like 50 people died because of you.
Hey, we don't have time to recognize human lives in this.
I'll say these are these child slave soldiers.
Fuck, I'd like to point out Yoda was using ARC troopers and clone commandos as frontline troops during the Battle of Geonosis.
Yes,
those are auxiliary military forces, those are force multipliers, which for the non-military nerds, basically force multipliers go in and around, and through small specific actions, make frontline forces feel like they're having a bigger impact against the enemy. So like, the Navy SEALs go in, they take out a rocket station, and then it makes things easier for frontline troops. That is the point of force multipliers. He's using them. He's basically using Navy SEAls as frontline, as infantry. So that's Yoda for you. So before we make all the Jedi look, before we make specific Jedi look awful, all of them were awful. At least Obi-Wan and Mace Windu were using them as proper force multipliers.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about these rocket stations? That's a big fancy military term there. Artillery batteries. There you go. That's the proper term. I couldn't remember. Sorry, I was going on a rant. Rocket station. I was going on a rant.
SAM sites is what I knew them as in Command and Conquer.
SAM, there you go. Yeah, SAM sites. That's good. That's what they were. That's what they'd be used in Civ.
Another thing that this show did that I also didn't expect or realize is that I think it's Luminara. She's the green Jedi, right, with the black robes. Mm-hmm. Her Padawan is in this, which also plays a big part in the CGI show. So I was surprised that she's from this.
Yep.
Lots of stuff I didn't expect they did with
the clone with like the black canary, or not the clone, the Jedi with the black canary scream. That guy.
Oh, that was
that guy was cool.
Shakti. Is that
no, it's not Shakti. He's with Shakti.
Oh no, it's not Shakti.
He's like he looks like the guy, one of the guys from Mos Eisley Cantina. I know it's a terrible.
He's an Ithorian. He's an Ithorian. Yeah, he's an Ithorian. I can't remember. Is or Roran Karab, Fal Mudama.
Remember his
name. One of the.
His buddy has a kazoo glued into his mouth.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Had they ever established that Ithorians have like black canary powers?
No, I don't think so.
Before this? Okay. Because so far, all I know about Ithorians is when they've shown up randomly as NPCs in Star Wars games, and, of course, Mos Eisley, in the background of Mos Eisley Cantina at one time. And otherwise, I didn't really know much about them, other than they're called Ithorians. Right? I had my Star Wars Essential Character Guide when I was a kid, but of course, all that's, bullshit now, so.
It didn't have how they could scream and, destroy armies with their scream.
Oh, not just that, but rip metal plating off the floor with their scream.
That was something else.
Yeah, it was a bit. It was something. I would have just preferred that he was good at doing that with the Force than for him to be doing it with his voice.
I don't know. I liked the voice thing. That was kind of neat.
Hey,
I liked seeing that Black Canary was a Jedi.
We did get Palpatine, stick his finger in his ear and kind of clean out his ear after it. Release that.
I love how Palpatine is so clearly just, oh no, General Grievous is here. Oh no, whatever shall we do?
I was going to ask, so did Palpatine have Grievous kidnap him on purpose?
Yes, but I don't think Grievous knew it.
Okay, because I got the feeling Grievous didn't seem like he knows that Palpatine is Sidious.
I'd like to point out, I don't think Grievous knows a lot.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm pretty sure Grievous is oblivious to 90% of everything.
Yeah, but we do think Palpatine got himself kidnapped on purpose.
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
I would agree. I completely agree with that too. I think it's completely on purpose.
So because his whole purpose of getting kidnapped was to get Anakin in a situation where he would kill Dooku, right?
That's all I took it, yes.
Yeah, I always wonder if that was more like he's like, I can use this to my advantage, or if he actually orchestrated the whole thing. I always kind of assumed orchestrated the whole thing. But then there I was like, well, I'm not sure what's going on in the cartoon, so.
I think he orchestrated the whole thing. I mean, that's just the way that Palpatine acts in this, is it's got to be completely orchestrated by Palpatine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And again, it fits Palpatine being Palpatine. He's just a shithead.
He is so dry about everything. He's not near as threatened as he should be when you consider his age.
He deserves to feel threatened.
Yes.
You better feel threatened.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If he wasn't lying, he would feel threatened. If he wasn't in on this, he would feel like old man out of his element. But the fact of the matter is, he's a powerful Sith Lord who's undercover, yada yada. He doesn't have to worry about anything. Everything is like perfectly under his control.
I mean, you don't get enough of him being, sneaky as you get in the CGI show, but that's again because you have a lot more episodes to play with.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's enough to give you something in between the two movies that I really would wish I would have watched this back then and went into Revenge of the Sith with that. Which is why this is being recorded before we record Revenge of the Sith. So I could have that this time. So this also had the stealth droids, which I don't think ever show up in a different time. Like you have those the stealth droid that Yoda fights with Luminara, and then they fight, and you also get to see the Force, like we were talking about earlier with the Force Screamer guy. Like you get to see the Force really be epic, like Force Unleashed level style. You don't see very often.
Yeah, it's definitely some Force Unleashed with the cheat codes turned on levels. It's sometimes like it gets to be the point of like, well, why do they even need an army? Like apparently,
what's the point of this?
This is pretty intense. Yeah,
fair. I enjoyed seeing like the Force being so epic though, because you don't get that. So it was nice. It was a nice change. It was nice to see what they could do with a cartoon.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
I really got a kick out of it though, like more than I expected, and I was happy that Padme's not around a whole lot, and that R2's not with Anakin. He's with Padme. Unlike the CGI show, I think R2D2 is always with Anakin, if I remember.
Oh no, he had some of those garbage side quest episodes where he just went off with the clones. I'd like to point out those episodes were absolute trash.
Okay, I can completely believe that. Not that they're trash, but that they did episodes like that.
Sorry, am I coming off a little strong about side quest episodes?
Hey, side quests make up the world. I've been on a continuous side quest the whole time I've been alive.
Well, and then the ending of season 1, season 2, or volume 1, like the whole everything leading up to what Anakin does, where he goes into a trap. I mean, obvious trap, and he goes into it to go to try to fight the Sajay and Sajay Ventress, and that whole final fight is also again epic as hell. Like that was really cool
doing it on Yavin 4 because like you've got the big red planet of Yavin like up in the sky, like a big blood moon. Is very cool.
I didn't realize that was Yavin.
It's Yavin 4. They're on those temples where
that's even cooler now.
Where Luke builds the Jedi Academy in the books, but also where they attack the Death Star from in the first movie. Of course, that's the main thing.
That's cool.
That's where Exar Kun like had like the Sith cult or whatever.
Good times at the Sith cult, huh?
What was it called? The Exar Kun. What was it called? The Masa Sani or something like that.
I have no idea.
I can't.
I'm not a
fallen Jedi who joined the Sith during the Great Sith War. Later established a dark side presence on Yavin 4. Yeah.
Okay. It was just okay. That makes it even cooler that it was Yavin. Okay, I probably said it and I just wasn't paying enough attention.
They do a few of those. They're like earlier when Mace Windu first like does his like kung fu against the battle droids. That's on Dantooine, which was the planet that Princess Leia told what's his name Tarkin that was where the rebel base was at.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that either.
In the comics, I mean, I remember in the books and everything, Dantooine had been the rebel base that they had been at before they went to Yavin 4, and they had left there, and that's why Leia had said that, because it was like an actual base they had. That was in the books, again, not canon, but yeah, that's where they have the battle where the like anime kid watches Mace Windu just like destroy an entire army.
I felt very Ghibli.
It did, and the kid, like, when they show them standing next to each other, the kid, he's drawn to look like he's like 10, so he should be like like 4 feet tall. But then when he stands next to Mace Windu, he barely comes up to his knee. He's like a little bit above his knee. It's like 2.5 feet tall.
Yeah, but his growth spurt. Yeah, he'll be up to his shoulders before you know it.
Yeah.
Mace Windu's a tall dude. Like
yeah, true. But anyway, yeah. So they had Dantooine, they have Tet, and then they have Yavin 4. So it's cool to be on Yavin 4 because you've got the whole thing of Exar Kun, and the it's like a place where there's like a lot of dark force energy, and that's where Anakin almost falls to the dark side. Like, or I feel like he does.
He does.
I think he's tapping into the dark side when I think it's supposed to be that he killed her.
Yeah, because I mean they kind of had to, because she's not in the third movie and she's not in any movies, and their probably whole thing was you have to put away characters and not have them around. Because I mean the idea wasn't that you were going to have Jedi that are going to appear later on in the camp. Like, this stuff they had to put away.
I hope she shows up in the Ahsoka series.
I'm hoping she's somewhere because in the CGI show she survives. Ahsoka's around. I mean, I'm sure they can find some excuse to where she went somewhere.
Yeah, I bet she does
Space
show up
Whales.
in the Ahsoka series.
I mean, when they got a character like that sitting around, it's a waste if they
I mean,
don't.
she just looks
her in.
cool. She just looks cool. She's got those two like curved lightsabers like Dooku's.
She also
For
fell
sure.
victim to space whales.
Yeah.
That's my answer to every question in Star Wars.
Damn space whales and your
Unfortunately.
siren
Dude,
songs.
that's awful.
Unfortunately, I don't know, Carrie, you get that joke or not because you haven't watched
No.
Rebels yet.
No, I haven't watched Rebels yet.
You need to.
Space whales are a hell of a trip.
I really like Rebels a lot.
I like Rebels. It's just space whales were a little much for me.
They had to do something to put away certain characters, and that was it. And the writers' room was on break that day. Okay, what's this called?
It's just
The
had to find a way to put
catering
away
team writing
things.
That one sitting in.
But I want to talk about. I mean, we kind of talk off and hot about the second volume, or the season 3 of this show, which is just 3 20-minute episodes, I think it was, or something, or 5. It's not very long. I mean, it wasn't mini episodes anymore. It's actually main.
You're talking about season 3. Each episode is 15 minutes, and there's 5 of them. Yeah.
Okay.
But they're not quite 15 minutes. 12 minutes. Sorry.
Okay, but that's
It's
way
an-
longer
it's
than
an
what it
hour-
was before.
It's an hour exactly, including credits, because like I said, I just watched it. So yeah, it's 5 12-minute episodes.
It's kind of broken up in a couple parts. Like, it's one section of where Anakin is off doing his thing, where you show him become a Jedi Knight, and they cut off his stupid ponytail on his hair.
Uh-huh. His
That was
his
cool to have,
little
like,
rat tail.
the rat tail.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
Padme puts it in a little keepsake box.
Oh god, that bothered me. But yeah. But it was cool to see. I mean, to kind of show you, like, because this shows him kind of get the look that he then has in the third movie. So it helps show.
Right.
Okay, his hair is different. He has a scar.
He gets he gets the blue, God of War tattoos.
Yes, I was okay with those.
It was fine. My son said that it really looks like what Link's got going on in the trailers for Tears of the Kingdom with his arm.
He's not
That's
wrong.
what he thought it looked like. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's exactly what it looks like.
You get to see really, really ugly Wookiees show up in this too, which kind of, again, leads into them invading Kashyyyk.
Swinging
gotta
around
say-
on vines, throwing spears at animals, like, just the primitive monkey people that they are, except for when they're not.
That was
Yeah,
that was the one bit of design that kind of disappointed me because I just didn't feel like they looked hairy enough or something.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't look good. But it was whatever. They were it was a montage of, oh, we're actually losing the war.
It was a little thing, I'm not
Yeah.
going to hold it too much against it. Like, and it makes sense on animation level. It's easy to animate those shapes around. I get why they did it.
Yeah, but I really I didn't care for the third season except for the General Grievous stuff. I liked the first 2 seasons a lot more than the third season, except for the General Grievous stuff was great in the third season.
Yeah, it really is. And like, all I could think of when I watched the whole assault on Coruscant is like, why couldn't this have been in the movie? Like, I didn't want to read a paragraph of text. I want to see this in a movie.
Yeah, well, I guess they want you to watch the cartoon, except they didn't make it easy to watch it.
No. I don't think it aired very much either back then.
Yeah, I mean,
mean-
I don't remember the third season at all. I know the first 2 seasons, were those little shorts in between stuff, and they were also on the websites. But I don't know how the third season was done.
Yeah, I remember not being able to catch this all the time and being really frustrated because I had seen maybe the first or second short and I thought, okay, I gotta try to watch this all the way through. But yeah, I would never be I don't even remember when it would come on. I think it would come on after a certain show I didn't even particularly like, so I just wouldn't care.
I can't. I just remember seeing ads for it, but I never took the time out to watch it because it was, again, weird times. They're just 3-minute thing didn't matter to me. I'm like, that's stupid.
Sure.
I mean, thankfully it's on Disney Plus now, though, so you can easily watch it. I'm surprised that Disney Plus put this on there. But
Well, they also make it kind of hard to find.
yeah, it's not
on
easy.
Disney
It's not under Clone Wars or anything you have. It's under Star Wars Vintage.
Yeah, Yeah, it's over there with Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor and stuff like that.
I watched Caravan of Courage. I was actually going to record about it a year ago, but it didn't happen yet.
Hey, because you have to find someone else to trick into watching it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
name sounds abysmal.
It's Lord of the Rings, but Ewoks. I'm not kidding. It's literally, that's the best way to describe it. It's a bunch of, they go on an Ewok journey, and they go and recruit other Ewoks along this journey, like Lord of the Rings. They go fight a giant
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, thanks though. I'm good.
Okay.
I think it's really inspirational though in Caravan of Courage when they're like when they find the one ring and then the soundtrack comes in. It's like Caravan of Courage.
It's not that far. You're besides the ring part. You're not that far off from what that movie goes through. It's not good, but someday I'll have to talk about it because I have to. So I found 2 suckers, but then things happened. I wasn't able to get it recorded. But one of those suckers
real
was
quick,
my wife.
Mike, say Caravan of Courage 5 times fast forward. Go.
No. like everything with like the way that they go in, like that General Grievous goes and gets Palpatine, like that whole thing where you see the Jedi chasing after him, like the amount of like what they're doing on Coruscant. That was so cool to see. Like it was just so fucking awesome. I just really liked it.
It was very cool.
I had to look up
Mace Windu.
Yeah, I had to look up if Shaak Ti survived. I'm like, is Shaak Ti in the 3rd movie? Because I couldn't remember. And because I thought she was going to get killed multiple times because Grievous is just a monster in this.
Yeah, he's great.
And it also fits because he's not as epic in the 3rd movie from what I remember. It's been a while, but it also could be because he gets, almost murdered by Mace Windu. So that kind of goes along with it.
Yeah, having your lungs collapsed in on themselves is just it's time.
Yeah, trying to make you a lot weaker. So I mean, again, it fits because he's not that vicious. He's not as vicious from what I remember, but in this, he's fucking vicious. Like he kills so many Jedi.
Yeah, well, you see like in Revenge of the Sith how he's got that like belt full of lightsabers, and that's like it's kind of like telling showing without telling a little bit there. Like it's like, oh, okay, so he's got those lightsabers. That implies that he's killed at least 4 Jedi. But then you see in this, he's got more than 4. He's got like 7 by the end of it.
Doesn't he have 4 arms in Revenge of the Sith?
He does, and he does have 4 arms in this. He just doesn't unlimber the 3rd and 4th arm until the very last episode.
It's really hard to animate.
Well, I think it was more like he didn't need it until he gets to, and then when he's got to fight, got this Roron Korob and Fal Modama at the same time. That's when he like pops out the other 2. It's very cool.
Yeah,
because I was telling my son, I was like, we don't see his 3rd and 4th arms until he shows them to Kenobi in Revenge of the Sith. Maybe he gets an upgrade, but no, he already had them. He just he didn't need it. It's like when Goku throws off the weighted training vest. I was like, all right, now I've really got to put in some effort.
Yeah, because he doesn't have to put a lot of effort in. I didn't care for the Anakin's little quest that he goes on the alien planet.
I hated that. I thought it was really dumb.
It was.
I mean, it wasn't really dumb, but it was fine. But that was where I started looking at my phone. Like, all right, how much time we got left in this thing? when he's like when Obi-Wan like volunteers him to go on the trial of fire and all that, and then he just so happens to wander into the laboratory where they're experimenting on the people and stuff.
Yeah, and you get to see the Techno Union, so that was kind of cool. Oh, and you also have a brief shot of the blue guards, which essentially become the Royal Guards later on.
Right. My son asked, he's like, "Who's that blue guy?" I was like, "Well, that's one of the Royal Guards, but he's blue instead of red."
Because they weren't the Empire yet; they were the Republic.
But we saw, I was like, the Red Guards we see for all of like 3 seconds in Return of the Jedi. They guard an elevator and then leave. But they looked cool, and when I was a kid, we all like wanted to know what's up with those Red Guard guys. What are they going to do? They look really cool.
They were specifically like engineered to guard elevators, friend. Like you're thinking too much about this.
Yeah,
they were one of my favorite too. I actually have somewhere probably at my parents' house the original figure of the Royal Guards from the first Star Wars set.
Oh yeah,
that I picked up years later. So I just really like them.
Yeah, and I think they put them in. To the into Empire in the extended edition, maybe special edition. But yeah, that for like a second or 2, or maybe they just have another scene. But yeah, they're just in the Return of the Jedi when Vader brings Luke in, and then the Emperor tells him to get out, tells him to leave us, and they're like, all right, they peace out. Like, we thought we were going to see a Jedi fight.
But it was just cool to see that in here because it's the only time you see them.
Yeah, and we see him just, right before he dies.
And then, like, I can't remember in Revenge of the Sith if Anakin has a different, like, robot arm than he does in here. Because in here it kind of shows that he was, that he loses his arm and gets a new one. But I don't remember. Another one,
but I mean, it looks pretty much the same, right?
I have
the new one looked like it had a little bit more black in it, but it's still basically the same thing as that bronze Terminator arm.
I can't. It's been a long time, but it was just cool to see that he gets a new hand.
Yeah, no, I mean in this, when they show him building the new one in this, it looks just like the one that he got cut off, pretty much. And he puts a black glove on it.
Oh, okay, yes, you're right.
Yeah, and then in Revenge of the Sith, I don't think we ever see it. I think we just see the black glove and him look down at it and make like the sound to kind of mirror when Luke does that in Return of the Jedi.
The whir.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
But yeah, I like the Magna Guards. I always like the design of the Magna Guards in Revenge of the Sith, and I liked them in this.
What are those?
Those are Grievous's guys with the staffs that are like Grievous like trained for fighting Jedi.
Yeah, I really like them too.
Yeah.
How did we all feel about the mutant experiments of the Nelvin warriors?
I just thought it was so dumb.
The rat people. I'll be honest with you. I think that's about when the fourth beer hit me, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
Well, and it didn't even match. Like the art style didn't match the rest of the show either. It looked like biker mice from Mars is what it made me think.
Hey, you know what? Jimmy Cameron is going to do Tartakosvsky a check if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Avatar people.
Yes. I said, look, it's a Navi. and I was like, this is like, I mean, Avatar came out in like 2008. Yeah. So this is three years before Avatar.
You're right though. It was just,
and they look exactly like them.
I didn't like it either.
That's probably
I didn't
my
care
least,
for that whole arc.
It's probably my least favorite part of it. And also I just don't I don't know what they're supposed to be doing with these rat people and why they're making them so big and bulbous. Like, are they really going to be able to take these things and like enslave them and then use them as weapons of war or something?
And how are these better than droids? That's the thing. Like, you have a droid army already. Like, are you running out of droids?
I don't understand.
The droids are becoming too human.
They need these to fight the droids after the war's over.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. You're getting it.
Go.
God,
how else are you gonna stop the inevitable droids? This is exactly how you stop Skynet.
Yeah, you build rat people.
People.
Yeah.
I guess it's supposed to probably just be an idea of showing how evil that they are. Is I'm assuming what they were going for. Is that whole idea?
Little did they know that in 20 years they'd have a whole group of people like me saying that the Separatists did nothing wrong. So
yeah.
Separatists are not good in this. So.
Well, it's not canon anymore, so I think we all know who's right here.
I feel like the whole point of the Nelvin thing was to give Anakin like a heroic moment after, because we see him kill Asajj Ventress, and it's like, all right, now we need to have Anakin be the hero again, which is kind of my problem with Clone Wars in general, with the CG show too, is that it really, Anakin is just too good in it for most of it. Yeah. And it's like, how do we get to him like cutting down children?
I think we do a good job of it when like there's that banker clan dude that like Padme almost ends up dating. Well, she's still technically dating, and I don't know if you guys remember that guy.
Still married to him. I mean, she's married to him.
Oh yeah, she is married to Anakin, and like
but she has to hide.
Yeah.
No, there's he tortures somebody in the CGI show.
Oh, does he? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, when they won't tell him where Ahsoka is, he starts torturing the guy. The guy's like, "You won't hurt me. You're a Jedi." And the door closes, and you hear the guy scream.
Yeah, I just feel like those moments are too far in between, and they're peppered among him just being like cool hero character a lot of the show. But
hey, Kerry, it only takes one crack to break an egg, okay, buddy?
One crack, and then you're slaughtering children.
Oh, yeah.
All the little children.
That's my hero origin.
Did y'all see that they're making Star Wars? They're making like a Star Wars animated like Jedi like children's show.
I can't believe they're doing that shit. And like,
it's like, you know how this ends, right? Every character on this show, guys. Every character on this show is getting chopped down.
Dude, what part did you guys miss here? Like, what happened?
This is Disney wanting to have their cake and eat it too. It's like, all right,
it's Disney.
They're gonna have their cake and eat it too, no matter what anybody does. Let me tell you.
They just kind of said it during the Old Republic era, and it's fine.
But have they said it during the Old Republic?
No, I don't think so. It looks like it's not very much because then they couldn't have Yoda show up. You gotta have Yoda show up and talk in a funny voice.
Yeah, then how else are they going to sell Baby Yoda toys?
Exactly.
Okay, look, if they're going to do this, they have to go full-on Muppet Babies, found footage style. We're just going to be getting...
Yes.
We're going to be getting like
Muppet Babies.
Star Wars movie.
We're going to be getting like claymation monsters from
Star
Flesh
Wars
Gordon in
characters.
this thing.
Yes.
Oh, I'd watch that. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, if it takes place at any point before, like, there's an issue there. So
I think it'd be really good if it was like hardcore drama when the babies aren't around, but then you're near the babies and everything just like a dumb like kid show. That'd be hilarious if like people were worried like planning war like when they're not around the kids, but whenever we're around the kids, we're learning lessons.
It's a whole other show. The soundtrack changes. Like, have y'all seen Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, like that, but for war. Yes, that could actually be like a really cool idea.
okay.
And you know what? Kevin can go fuck himself.
Man, I was thinking about that show. That's a brilliant show. I just got to say, that show is absolutely brilliant.
All right, any more things you guys want to say about this show before we
Yoda riding around on a horse thing?
Hey, that was epic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, that's what I needed more of in the movie.
Or it was more of a ram. It's called a kaibuck, but it's like more like
the baby goat.
Yeah, it's like a goat, and it like headbutts a battle droid just like just off screen.
I do have
headbutt, not a battle droid. I'm sorry, a super battle droid. It headbutts a super battle droid and sends it flying.
I do have one thing to add. Heavy battle droids are always absolutely dope. Always. They're never not absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like battle droids in general. Like the super battle droids, those are always something else, and I always like seeing them and stuff.
I like a droideka. And they showed some droidekas in this too.
Yeah, that was cool too.
Those are good.
I love the design of droidekas.
They give you a lot of different stuff in this, and that was nice.
I like anything that rolls around in a ball, let me tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
I was a big Super Monkey Ball fan, believe it or not.
I like it.
That's a decent.
Definitely. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, this is undoubtedly probably my favorite Star Wars thing. I'm enjoying The Mandalorian, and I'm really liking Bad Batch. In fact, I like Bad Batch more than most of Clone Wars, even though...
Yeah, Bad Batch is great.
Yeah, like it just feels like they got everything I wanted out of Clone Wars into Bad Batch.
Bad Batch is the Republic Commando series I always wanted, basically.
For sure, yeah.
That's what it really feels like.
But this thing, it made me interested in Star Wars again after a long time because I was just so like kind of over the series after 2 and 3, and the books I had been reading up to that point hadn't really been doing it for me. But then after I saw this, it's like, okay, there's still things that Star Wars can do that are cool. I'm a big original trilogy guy. Like that's really where the meat is for me. Same. And now that we've got a universe that's definitely more interested in taking the good parts of that and putting it on screen, I'm much more back into Star Wars. But this was my favorite thing, like for a long time.
I really like this. Yeah, I'm glad I watched it for this because I had a high opinion of what I had seen of it, but I'd only seen probably like 10 minutes of this all together. So
I mean, did you feel like it gave you enough story beat moving forward that you never felt frustrated by it? Because I think that's always the problems, like with the 2 and 3 episodes, and especially 1, 2. I think 1 dawdles so much in really dumb ways at times.
Yeah, totally.
It was a fun way to spend a Saturday night drinking.
I bet it was, you drunk.
That's how I would say it. That is both incredibly high praise from me and as high as I'm going to go on it. Because you know what? That I stayed up until 1 a.m, multitasking, chugging beers, watching it. So, and you know what? I remember it. So There
Hell
you
yeah.
go. I remember it. That tells you how good that show was.
That's fair. That is
Yeah.
a fair statement right there. So
There you go.
I mean, the things I watch sober that I can't remember are Legion oftentimes, you know? So I totally understand where you're coming from. Fred.
Yeah. Like the amount of time. Look, I watched NCIS growing up stone cold sober from 12 till 18. I don't remember any of that. I
Come on, you remember the time that woman was assaulted, you know, the one? Yeah.
Maybe I do remember that one.
Specific times.
Yeah.
all right. I think we should go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Nick, why don't you go first?
I'd put it on the stack. I'd put it on the stack. I feel personally, most of the CG the Clone Wars would go on shelf. I feel like the majority shelf's the highest, right? It's been a long time since I've done.
Yeah, shelf is highest, stack in the middle, box is below.
Yeah, right, okay. I feel like the majority of CG Clone Wars would go on shelf. Granted, the highs are higher, the lows are much lower. Like there's some garbage episodes, but this was it was consistently entertaining. Nothing great, nothing awesome, but it was consistently entertaining.
Okay.
For about 3.5 hours, or however long.
2 hours.
Amen.
For this.
2 hours.
I've watched 3.5 hour movies that are much worse than this. So.
Same.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Kerry?
Stack. It's great. I loved it. I don't see any reason that I would watch it again anytime soon, though. So I'll say Stack. But yeah, I loved it. It was great. And like you said, I mean, there's way worse things you could do of 2 hours of your life than watch this, for sure.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
I have watched some really bad movies before.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And I watched 7 seasons of RuPaul so far, but that's actually somewhat entertaining. So my wife loves that show, so I gotta keep bringing it up now on this podcast, and she's watching it right now. And I watch it while I edit now. I'm like, it's growing on me slowly. But, all right, and what about you, Rob?
Well, Stack is like our mid choice.
Yes.
Because I gotta go to Shelf. If so, like, let me tell you, I'm proud to bring people over to be like, look, I got that 2003 Clone Wars up there, huh? Yeah. Fancy,
to be fair, if
huh?
you have this on DVD, that might actually be worth money. If you got this on an original DVD, this actually might be worth a pretty penny.
The one time the market knows what it's talking about. Let me tell you.
If you got this on VHS, you're actually winning. You could actually probably sell that and start an IRA.
I actually would like to have this on DVD.
Oh, no, I lied. There are figures for this. They did make toys for the show.
Okay.
Ooh.
God, they must be ugly toys, honestly.
Well, get out of here, Funko Pops.
Yeah, like I would definitely say this is one of the few things that truly makes me a Star Wars fan. It just knows where the meat of these stories are and what to do to make these characters cool and appealing in a way they just didn't feel cool and appealing for at the time they were coming out. And I think it's a real shame the movies themselves don't have better plot development and character development at the same time. Like, it's crazy if your shitty 3-minute cartoons do better than your actual movie, then you know that you fucked up a lot.
We got a problem here. Someone messed up.
And there's no VHS on eBay for that, but the DVD goes for about $30.
Oh, hey, my friend, that's okay.
That's completely undersold.
Hey, that's okay. I got VHS I ripped off of my VCR, okay? Even more valuable.
One of a kind.
I actually have an original TiVo with it on there.
Yeah, it's probably got I bet this VHS probably has snippets of the Playboy channel here.
And also comes with the first 3 seasons of South Park.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go last. I'm going to put this on the shelf too. I really enjoyed this. I came into it with absolutely no expectations and was blown away how much I enjoyed this little cartoon. So, and I never watched Samurai Jack. I don't like that style. I don't like Dexter's Laboratory, but I was on board with this. So apparently I just need to have clone troopers getting murdered and I'm on board. So, hey.
If it helps, I do not remember Samurai Jack.
Oh,
never watched it.
All right. So to be fair, Samurai Jack was on at an age where my parents saw that and were like, that's a little too violent for our very young child. That was a little too violent.
Yeah, Dexter's
Also,
Lab
to-
and
to
Samurai
be fair-
Jack were when I was in high school.
To be fair,
Oh.
my parents also didn't like Dexter's Lab, but they also did not like Johnny Bravo. So
Okay, Johnny Bravo's fair.
Yeah,
Okay,
I like
Johnny
Dexter. I
Bravo
like
is-
Dexter's Lab. I didn't really watch a lot of Samurai Jack, but I like what I watched.
I was busy watching Boomerang with my dad. Like we were watching Tom and Jerry and Scooby Doo.
That's better than.
Oh yeah, those
There you
weren't too violent. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
But it's okay. They just get squished and they pop back together. They're all
Yeah.
murdered. It's okay.
They
Yeah.
just smoke cigars and have black maids. I totally, yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
The
You know what?
old
Never mind, I'm gonna stop there. I'm about to bring a little bit too much you hate to see it on the.
But no,
I'll dial it back.
when everybody says Tom and Jerry's not violent, like, yeah, have you watched Tom and Jerry? But yes, that's different. But no, I mean, I was just surprised. Like this is the first Tartakosvsky thing where I'm like, I was really on board, and I don't. Yeah, I was surprised to say that. So yeah, I learned something new. And Kerry, this was your first time watching this, right? Also.
Yes, first time watching it, other than like catching an episode here or there.
Okay. Hey, I was able to bring you something new, Star Wars you never saw before.
I know, because Star Wars is like, that's like my main thing that I'm into. So
when are
like
we
to
doing
show me something like that
Battle
is
for
pretty
Andor?
new.
And Caravan of Courage.
No, I'm all right on those.
You haven't seen Caravan of Courage 5 times yet. Let's go.
Hey, it's not that bad. Trash. I'm kidding. Don't watch it. I gotta rewatch this, or I gotta rewatch it so I can talk about it. And I don't want to rewatch it, even though my wife will do it with me. I'm like, but then I gotta rewatch it. I don't want to rewatch it.
I feel that way about The Wire.
I am happy that this is on Disney Plus. The last thing I want to talk about before we wrap this up is it just makes me happy that this is somewhere now that people can watch this show. Not Caravan of Courage, fuck Caravan, but people can watch this Clone Wars show because this deserves to be watched. Like, I'm just happy that it exists in an easy format for people to find. Even if Disney Plus does its best to hide it, at least it's there.
Amen.
So, yeah. All right, and Nick, where can people find you at?
You can find us at You Hate to See It, YOUH8CIT. You can find us on wherever podcasts are found. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, on YouTube. We, again, three drunken morons that talk about topical stuff, comics, sports.
Oh,
We're now interviewing. We're now recording in person again. So our new format is 30-minute episodes, but we record the entire month in one go. So episode 1, we're sober, and then by the time we get to episode 4, we can't stand.
hey,
So
I don't pay you
because
nothing
we
to be
do a
sober.
shot at the beginning of every episode, and that's every 30 minutes. And then I'd like to point out March was horrible because there were 5 weeks in March. That was brutal. We had to watch a movie to sober up before we could go home.
That's you just crash on whoever's couch at that point. You're like, nah, I'll stay here.
Here's the thing: it was 3 p.m. on a Sunday.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. All right. And Kerry, where can people find you at?
Hey, so I stream on Twitch, Karuseta, KEROOSETA. I also been trying to build up my YouTube channel, same name. So I play a lot of video games, mostly Dark Souls stuff, and occasionally modify and repair video game consoles on there. Most recently, I've been playing through a randomizer of Symphony of the Night for the 30th time ever. So that's about it.
That game's great.
Good game.
So, yeah, it's one of my favorites.
All right. And Rob, where can people find you at?
Hey, they can find me at Conversations with Robbie Sherman on Twitter. I got more episodes coming out. We got one coming out this week with Danielle from the No More Late Fees podcast, and that's been a long time coming. I'm happy to get that out and give them some exposure. They got a new season coming out very soon, so we can get a little double back on the exposure.
All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, we have tons of other Star Wars episodes. You will see a link in the show notes to all the Star Wars stuff that we do. Plus, you will also see... What was I going to say? You can go on Podbean and you can search anything you want. Type in Star Wars, type in a movie, type in a random video game, something. You never know. We might have covered it. You can search everything on our Podbean website, which you can find easily. Just search Game My Mom Found Podbean. You'll find it. You want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Free. You can follow her on TikTok. If you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon. You can vote for as little as $1. You'll see a link in the show notes, so definitely go do that. You'll be hearing this in April, so we have 2 polls going on right now. One being Tim Curry movies Mike has never seen, and the other one is some of the recovered. We're going to do a recover of some old episodes. Definitely go check that out. And want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who did the MCU movies with me. He started his own podcast, Gamer Looks at 40. You'll see a link in the show notes to his channel. You'll see a link in the show notes to all these wonderful gentlemen that are talking with me today for their content. So definitely go check that out. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. And that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Later.
Bye.
Later.